Good afternoon. As Seamus said, thanks for the introduction, Seamus. I'm Deirdre O'Brolchain. I live with my family in the Ecovillage in Cloughjordan. And today I'm here to talk about, I suppose, my own family's involvement with SERV, but also about the Ecovillage and the partnership a little bit with SERV. So through this presentation, there's a couple of questions, I suppose, that people might ask, you know, what has SERV got to do with the Ecovillage and how it's impacted on us. So I'm going to try and answer a few of those questions by way of background about a little bit about the Ecovillage and also partnering with SERV and what it means at the moment and for the future. So, okay, so how did I get involved in the SERV project? Well, basically, myself and my husband were living in Dublin a couple of years ago. We decided we wanted a change and we wanted to move out of the city. We have 2 young boys and we had heard about this Ecovillage project in North Tipperary. It sounded fantastic. And we went down and checked it out. And just for people who aren't familiar with it, you'll see a plan over on the right-hand side. It's meant to be a model for sustainable living, and it's about showing how we can live. Maybe more emphasis on community, more emphasis on sustainability and resilience and all this type of thing. So I've just put a few points down here, which are the highlights for the Ecovillage and what it's trying to be about. And so creating a vibrant, resilient and sustainable community. It's located in the heart of Cloughjordan town, which is a population, and I stand corrected here maybe, Jim, of about 500, 600. It's a beautiful little town. And the whole idea of the Ecovillage being sustainable was that it would be located directly off Main Street, which, if I know how to work this, if you can just see down here, just this spot here, that is actually Main Street, and the Ecovillage is entered from Main Street. That really appealed to us because the whole idea that you could cycle and walk more than taking the car. It's set on 67 acres. All of this, everything coloured here is the Ecovillage, but the residential area is just this area closest to the Main Street. There was the Eco Charter is an integral part of the Ecovillage, and its aim is to remind us and to be a guideline for us all about how to be more sustainable in the way we're building, in the way we're living and thinking, and about supporting local economy. And that also appealed to us very, very much. And then what was also extremely interesting to us was the fact that the heating was going to be provided by renewable energy. And that's when SERV came into the picture, I guess. Now, I'll have to say at this stage that I wouldn't have known as much about SERV, but I did know that they partly financed our district heating system, which was hugely important and a very, very important part of getting our district heating system off the ground. And so I'll talk a bit more about that later. So, and just to say, so this is our energy kind of barn is over here. And it's serving the homes and businesses in the Ecovillage. The Ecovillage is made up of houses and live-work units, and we have a new enterprise centre just being built. So it's not just about houses and families, it's more than that. So just moving along. So just again, for those who aren't familiar with Cloughjordan, this was just a few images of what it's about, what it's like. So it's an image of the old and the heritage and also the new, and thinking ahead and planning for the future. And renewable energy is so very important with the oil peaking and all that type of thing. So we really like this idea that we're preserving the past but planning for the future, and energy consumption was a large part of how we're going to have to think and how we're going to live, and reducing our carbon footprints for all of us in the Ecovillage. So anyway, those are some just nice images of the town. So myself and my husband, we decided that's it, we're in. We want to build, but one of the important things about energy consumption as well is when you're designing a new house, and we got this opportunity to build our own new home in the Ecovillage, is that it starts at the very bottom. You know, you literally from the foundation up, everything matters, and even up before that it's on paper. So at all times we're thinking about, for example, all the houses are orientated towards the south. That your north-facing windows, you might do double or triple glazing on those. Well, sorry, everything else would be double glazing. That, the living areas would be facing south. That the rooms you're going to use the least might be the north-facing. We went for a modern build, like rather than we have cob houses. We have different types of houses, but we went for a timber frame. And we have mechanical heat recovery and all that put in. Now that's all part of the design, and again it's all about the energy. We want to minimise our energy consumption because that's really important, but and you need to plan for it right from the get-go. So here that's my parents-in-law there and our kids just looking at the house being built, and down here then is, right in the heart of our house, is the buffer tank, which was it's 800 litre buffer tank, which is part of the whole district heating and how the district heating system that we put in, how it works with the 130 dwellings. So at this stage, again, we're very interested in it. We don't have a whole lot of knowledge, so we plod on, and we know that we've given our guidelines in the Eco Charter and also by the people who founded the Ecovillage to put this, and give it a certain amount of space, so we'd have a heat exchanger and all these things, but the full picture hadn't really emerged for us at this stage. But we does as much as we can in terms of insulation, low U values in the houses, on the windows I should say, and on the doors, and trying to eradicate, I suppose, thermal fridging. So there we are, new house, August 2010. Moved in the family and everything. I should say this is the north-facing part of the house, and a lot of the houses, when you see the Ecovillage from the back, looking down onto Main Street, shall we say, through the Ecovillage, you notice a minimal amount of windows because, of course, we want to reduce the because you're going to gain nothing by looking at the north in terms of light and solar gain. So you would have maybe your triple glazing here, and all these things are part of the design, and that was important to us. So this is our south-facing. You see the large glazing. So that's the family. So we had hoped for, and we were delighted to achieve, an energy rating of an A3 house, which was again in the Eco Charter. We all aspired to a minimum of a B1, and so part of the SERV at this stage, this is where then our lives, I suppose, interacted a lot more with SERV, because SERV were also going to fund us partly, and we get some money back in grant aid if we could achieve certain aim high and get a good energy rating, and the air tightness test, which in our house came in at a 2. So we're delighted with that, and we applied to SERV, but that's part of the story. So we got money from SERV, they helped fund our district heating system, but that's only part of the story. The rest of the story was our commitment back to them to say that we'll provide you with energy data, because it's all very well having these energy efficient homes, but the science has to be proved. Are they more efficient? Do we use less light? Do we use less energy and all that type of thing? So once we'd moved into our house, that's when we would have started thinking a lot more about how we interact in the house, how other houses, in the context of other houses in the Ecovillage, with the national statistics and all that type of thing. So just to say as well, so as we moved in, this is the Ecovillage now taken earlier in the year. You've probably seen it on the poster there actually. And this is, if you can imagine, we're standing on Main Street up here, so all the windows are facing south there. We have an apartment block on it, some semi-detached and detached houses. And then you have, this is looking back, this is the church on Main Street, Cloughjordan. So we have kind of a lot of woodland and everything, so that's looking back at it. So just to give you an idea, so the story then began for us really of why did I get involved in SERV, which comes to the data and collecting all the data and analysing it and understanding about energy consumption. So just to go back to the plan of the Ecovillage. So here we are, here's all the houses. SERV have funded us and grant aided us to build our district heating plant up here. And I'm not sure, I hope I'm not repeating myself here too much, but basically we have this whole pipe system going around the Ecovillage serving the 130 sites. And the idea is that the hot water is pumped around, it's circulated, it's a closed system, and arrives in all the houses, and it heats it and goes back up to the district heating plant, and we have the solar park up here as well. So this is our energy barn here. There's 2 biomass boilers in this, and we use wood chip that's sourced in Galway. Correct me if I'm wrong, Duncan, I think it's sourced in Galway, and I gather it's an offcut from a fencing company. And these are our solar panels, it's 500 square metres of solar panels. And the idea then was, so how are the houses performing with this new low energy system and this kind of using renewable energy? So I suppose all the data and everything comes from the individual houses. So I apologise, not a great photo because it's right in the middle of the house and there's not much light, that's with the light on. But this is a typical plant room where you have an 800 litre buffer tank, and you have a heat exchanger, which I'll show you in the next one. Sorry, I just mentioned that because it did come up the other day. Someone was asking when I was talking about plant room, I kind of rattle it off and people go, plant room, where are the plants? And someone reminded me that the other day. So, but clearly there's no plants in there. But so this is our heat exchanger, and I'm going to assume that you all might know all this because I think you're all interested in energy. Would that be correct? Yeah, okay. So it's our heat exchanger, and every house has one of these, and as you can see up here, that's the Matrima, and that records all the data. So that's just a little close-up of it. So this is where SERV, this is the nugget, I suppose, of what SERV's interested with us, between that and how the boilers are performing. And I got involved because I'm interested in data and collecting the data, and also because we have to build. It's a private estate insofar as we manage the district heating plant ourselves, and we have outgoings and income, so we need the income obviously, and people have to pay. So we came up with a standing charge that we felt was equitable for all sites, and then it's 3.5 cents per kilowatt hour for usage, and we measure it using this Matrima. And initially what we were doing is we were assimilating all that onto a spreadsheet. We get manual readings every month, but this is not what's served. They needed more than that. And because I suppose a lot of us are volunteers and we have very few paid staff, we eventually got around, but we did get what are now these little iMods. They're little, it just automatically collects the data, and we have it on a server. So there's readings every 15 minutes. And it gives us much more data on what's actually happening in the stream and about water flow and all that type of thing. This is the Merlin controller. Again, apologies if you've seen all this before, but this is the one that was chosen for the Ecovillage supplied by AEC, and this is the heat controller basically. So again, this is something that as a volunteer I was very interested in doing, because it's all very well, our house is a low energy house, we know that, and then we would have heat controls in all the rooms and all that type of thing, but every house in the Ecovillage is different. They're all built to a very good standard, but usage, preferred temperatures, people like 25 degrees in their house, some 23, we like 18 degrees, all the different things. We had to kind of get a hold on how does the data all fit together. So we've been collecting it since December 2010, I think. So what we have there is just on the left-hand side, I think that's the site number. So this is just when we purchase it, all our sites will go by site number. A few little comments for Serve to give a little background, because everything's in context. So what we have here, and this is again almost getting down to the nuts and bolts of what Serve wanted to do, was certainly a step in the right direction to be able to say, you know, per site, the detached house, they would already have all the detail of all the people who applied for Serve grant aid about their energy rating, and a lot more detail, I think, through. We have an energy assessor who runs a business in the Ecovillage, which was quite convenient for us, and a lot of the details of all that will be on it. So basically it's interesting for us. You can see lots of trends, summer versus winter, obviously, but also where, you know, the occupancy and where people have lots of visitors and the increase. But overall, on average, the heating bills are generally very, very low, and we're very pleased with the efficiency of the district heating system. But that's the science that Serve and their partners are working on for us, which is analysing the data in much more detail, I hope. So it also, lots of things that have to be taken into consideration. Some of us have chosen wall heating, underfloor heating, radiators, mixtures of both. There's all sorts of factors, and it'll all come out in the wash what exactly works best. So we're not quite there yet, but this is a very good start for us anyway, and for Serve. So the next thing to monitor, we're monitoring the heat usage, but that's not the full picture of energy. Serve wanted more. They want to know about the energy consumption of the whole house. So that, of course, includes electricity. So these are just the kids here, and we test run, we drove a little thing called an effigy monitor. It's a brand called Effigy. Some of you might have come across it. We test drove a couple of them, and this one we found to be best for our needs, because it's simple to use and it's simple to extract. I don't show you the back of that. So we installed these in all the houses, and it keeps data for up to 2 years. And the idea then is we go around the houses and manually download all the information from them. And again, we've given it to Serve so that they can analyse it in a more, heavy-duty way. But in the meantime, we can see lots of trends emerging in electricity ourselves, which include things like people who don't realise they've got faulty equipment, which is the whole point, I suppose, of monitoring data, isn't it, to see where you can make improvements. But this little fella here has been fantastic in showing usage, the background usage people are not using a lot, and actually it's showing up problems and things. And it's with a lot of it's the rain harvesting systems where the pump is running all the time, or things like that, which we've come across. So and that's we're just saying, as an educational tool, it's great for the kids to kind of learn a bit about it, because they're constantly watching it, and it does change habits. There's no question. What we've found out, and again, it's the great thing about being partnered with Serve, is it has focused our minds, and that's the main thing. And I was asked this question the other day, and I have the answer for you now, Seamus, which is to do with our heat. This is just our house, but we'd be Joe average in the Ecovillage. So you have here, it's our heat usage here for last year, for the last 12 months, literally August to August. It's our electricity, total that divided by the square metre of our house. And here's our energy usage consumption for the year now. For the BERs, I think it moves us up to an 8.2 in terms of it's greater than or less than whatever. Can you make that out there? So for an 8.2 house, then it's greater than or equal to between 25 and 50. So we were absolutely delighted with that. But I would imagine a lot of the Ecovillage houses, the expectation would be that it's not just the house, it's how we live in them, and that the energy ratings will actually go up based on the data that we'll get back from Serve, or internally even just based on electricity and heat usage. So So was there involved in a positive experience? And I'd say absolutely yes. And I would say on behalf of the Ecovillage, absolutely yes, because it's really focused our minds. The founders of the Ecovillage and the people who joined up, it was always their idea to live a more sustainable life, but partnering with SERV has meant it's particularly to do with energy consumption, and analysing it as a scientific tool has been absolutely fantastic and very, very beneficial for us. And because the more we understand about it, the more that we can educate about it as well, certainly in the Ecovillage. So I was just in summary there, just a couple of points. Because I suppose because we have, just in particular with regard to the energy usage in the Ecovillage, I would say that what we've learned is about, well, we have one of the largest district heating systems in the country. If not, I stand corrected on that. Again, anyone here from the Ecovillage might be able to correct me on that. And because we didn't want to be reliant on fossil fuels, it's been fantastic that we've been able to do it. SERV helped us fund our district heating system, which we're very grateful for. So that has meant that we've been able to then use it as an educational tool now as well. By changing the residents and the site owners' residents, whatever, their knowledge of energy and energy consumption, how we live and everything, the whole idea is to become an educational tool that's very important, and then for the next generation as well. And I would say as well, this is very, very important here, which is about, we understand more about the design of the home, the integrity, literally from the foundation up, that we have a huge role to play ourselves in making it better from the beginning. It doesn't matter that we don't have, you don't have to live in the Ecovillages, no matter where you're building the home. Yes, the design stage is critical from then on, and that you can make great strides in lowering your energy consumption. And so I just put that in here. Obviously we have a solar lamp there at the moment, but what we're learning, for example, as you go along, is that in Ireland, solar lamps alone are, in the winter are not the best solution. This has nothing to do with SERV, my dad. We were very kindly donated this, but by someone else. But it's just we're learning what works and how we, economies of scale, and by being in a community how we can share knowledge. And that's just, I suppose, a picture of the future. The President Higgins came to us in June to open the Convergence Festival, which is all about sustainable futures for us, and we were delighted to have him. That's the back of our coach house, which is, I suppose, the old part of the end of, it's the opening of the Ecovillage, where old meets new. And would you participate in a similar project? I was just throwing these questions where I know, and absolutely yes, it's fantastic. I'd encourage anyone to get involved in anything that motivates them to reduce their energy consumption. And I want to thank Seamus and everyone at SERV for your support on behalf of the Ecovillage, and really appreciate it. And thank you very much.